Omega Seamaster Diver 300M. They come on bracelet, they come on rubber. I personally prefer rubber to wear. Being a pretty active guy, the rubber just feels better on my wrist. They're a 42 millimeter with a 55-hour power reserve. They're waterproof to 300 meters. Being a diving watch, that's 1,000 feet. With an MSRP of 5.9K USD on bracelet and 5.6K on rubber, these can actually be found brand new on the secondary market for around $4,000 or less used. Great entry-level piece that has a huge brand recognition due to our favorite secret agent, 007 James Bond. What's up, guys? My name is Chris Warrens, and I'm a full-time luxury watch dealer dedicated to educating you. We've been doing it since 2017, and I have a few other companies where I do some consulting, writing, speaking. I have some real estate and a nonprofit dedicated to veterans, teaching them entrepreneurship. But here on this channel, it's all about educating you on timepieces. So let's get into the show. All right. Today, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to talk about the 5 affordable watches that look expensive. Now, here's the thing, okay? My perspective is going to be a bit subjective. Why do I say that? It really depends on what you think is affordable. What I think is affordable, what other people I know think are affordable, could be very different from what maybe you think what's affordable. But what I'm going to try to do is explain a bunch of different pieces of price ranges that look expensive for a fraction of the cost. So if you don't agree, I do understand, but hey, maybe you're at a different place in life than others watching. So that very well could be the case, but let's just get started with the first example. All right, number 1 of 5, the Tudor Black Bay reference M7941A1A0RU-0002, specifically on Jubilee, with a steel bracelet and a red bezel. It just looks really sharp, especially for the price point. It's a 41 millimeter case with a 70-hour power reserve, and it's waterproofed 200 meters or 660 feet. With an MSRP of $4,550 US dollars, it's not really that bad of an MSRP. Now, here's the thing. You can find a Tudor, brand new, same exact Tudor on the secondary market for about $3,000. And it looks at least double or triple the price. Overall, it's a great entry-level piece, which looks pricey due to its similarities to Rolex. And it's very affordable. All right, number 2, Omega Seamaster Diver 300M. Okay, pause. This is one of my favorites at a very low price point. I've done reviews on this show before, but let's do the cliff notes. The blue and green dials are my personal variation. They come on bracelet, they come on rubber. I personally prefer rubber to wear. Being a pretty active guy, the rubber just feels better on my wrist. They're a 42 millimeter with a 55-hour power reserve. They're waterproof to 300 meters. Being a diving watch, that's 1,000 feet. With an MSRP of 5.9K USD on bracelet and 5.6K on rubber, these can actually be found brand new on the secondary market for around $4,000 or less used. Great entry-level piece that has a huge brand recognition due to our favorite secret agent, 007 James Bond. All right, number 3. Throw a little curveball in here. Breitling Chronomat. Now, the Breitling Chronomat that we're going to talk about specifically has been discontinued. The AB011012, it's a white eye blue with white chronographs on a blue dial. It's been discontinued for a while, but you could still find it on the secondary market. And what makes it super cool is the reverse panda dial with a 44 millimeter case powered by the iconic Breitling B01 movement. It has a 70-hour power reserve, and I thought this was wrong when I was writing the show, so I took a look, and I'm still in disbelief. It's rated to 500 meters, or 1,650 meters? Listen, if any of you know exactly why it's 500 meters, please drop a comment below, because I would really like to know. I couldn't find that explanation, and to be honest, I would love to know the answer, and I'm sure someone watching that's a collector knows the answer to why it can go so deep. Now, with a MSRP new of around $10,000, when they were new, that was, you can still find these on the secondary market for like $4,500 USD. So it's a awesome entry-level, affordable timepiece, especially on the steel pilot's bracelet. It looks like a $15,000 watch. Okay, number 4, Rolex Datejust 16233, discontinued in 2005. Specifically, I find this example best and to look the most expensive with a champagne colored dial, and if you can get the diamond champagne dial, even better. It comes on a two-tone Jubilee bracelet, which makes a look of class and elegance, making it look more expensive than it really is, like $10,000 to $15,000 piece. It has a gold fluted bezel, and it gives the exact wrist presence of a much more expensive piece, given the glimmer that that fluted bezel gives in the proper lighting. With a 36mm case and a 42-hour power reserve, I would still recommend you not to dive in this watch. As I said, don't dive in I've said in other shows, don't dive in a Navitimer. I would also say, don't dive at Rolex Datejust. They're older. Maybe the pressure tests haven't been done in a while. You might not have had the watch pressure tested, so I would not recommend really doing any water or diving in this watch. But the good news is you can find these used for about $5,000 to maybe $8,000 depending on condition, which plays a huge part. Why? The bracelets tend to sag. The bracelets are aftermarket. Dials have been swapped, or there's spotting on the dials. They tend to be missing links, which could be like $200 a piece. But overall, they look like a $15,000 or $20,000 watch, but really are closer to $5,000. All right, number 5, the Rolex Submariner 16613. Comes in several dial colors, most notably black and blue, also known as the bluesy. These have been discontinued since approximately 2010, which gave way to the newer generation 1166113s. Now, they both have a 40mm case, but with a two-tone steel and 18-karat gold bracelet, this watch isn't too expensive, but looks pretty expensive. Why? Not only is the bracelet two-tone, there's gold on the bezel and there's gold on the crown to give it a little extra bump to look more expensive. In addition to all of that, it has a 48-hour power reserve and water resistance to 300 meters, being a diver, which is 1,000 feet. These can be found on the secondary market between $8,000 and $14,000 depending on condition. It's a really great watch, and it looks pretty similar to the newest variation, which is the 126613. Affordable, but looks really expensive. I would give this watch the number 5 spot. It has the highest investment if you can handle that investment point, but it looks like a $20,000 piece for half the price. All right, so to close out and before we go, as always, I'd love to hear your feedback on this review and what you think of the watches that I mentioned. I enjoy talking timepieces and respond to everybody no matter their perspective. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do. And while you're there, please subscribe so I can catch you guys next time. Until then, be well.